Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Minnesota.
For 25 years, your home for Minnesota Twins baseball.
Another beautiful night in downtown Minneapolis where fans continue to file into Target Field to watch the Twins attempt to clinch another series with the Cleveland Indians. Last night, Twins rookie Andrew Albers painted the corners like a pitching Picasso en route to a complete game shutout masterpiece. The Twins first in over a year. He worked quickly, record time, 2 hours, 21 minutes. Quickest game of the Twins season was both short and sweet. And the complete game shutout might not have been possible, Roy Smalley, without some great defense behind him.
Man.
Albers worked quickly, and it kept the Twins on their toes defensively.
It always happens that way when you've got a pitcher that is throwing a lot of strikes. You expect the ball to be hit all the time, and you're ready to go. Look at this play by Brian Dozier. Makes a terrific dive and catch. The only guy could have made that play down the line. Watch this play. As good a play as you'll see any shortstop ever make. Made by Pedro Florimon up the middle. And then the next pitch, the next hitter, Cleve Thomas ranging a long way to left center field with the ball tailing away, but chased it down to help his pitcher's cause. And as I say, that's what happens when a pitcher's throwing strikes and not taking any time in between pitches. Your fielders are ready to work for you.
Twins on pace to commit the fewest errors in a single season in their history. Coming up next, Fox Sports North's investigative reporters Dick and Bert may have uncovered one of Target Field's hidden secrets. That story is next.
Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. The Twins enjoying a good stretch of baseball and a power surge. The last 22 runs they've scored have all scored on home runs on the road and last night at home. And tonight here at Target Field, Game 2 between the Twins and the Cleveland Indians. Dick Bramer, Burt Blyleven with you. The Twins playing good baseball and muscling up a little bit, hitting some home runs, which has not been their history.
Yeah, I think, this stadium opened up on Target Field back in 2010, and, everybody was talking about, hey, should they bring the fences in? The balls just weren't traveling far enough, a lot of them to the warning track. Well, it's picked up a little bit over the years, and that's a good thing. In last night's ball game, 2 home runs. That helped the Twins beat the Indians 3-0.
Now, back in 2010, Jason Giambi, then a member of the Colorado Rockies, predicted as much. He said the ball would not fly very well here in the first year of this ballpark because he had some expertise in the concrete business. So today I caught up with Jason and got his version of a theory as to why there are more home runs hit here now.
They just thought maybe because, the concrete would cure and then, eventually like really dry out and then it'll, start curing. But they said because maybe it was down below, it'd hold a lot of moisture kind of in the stadium. And it kind of does. When you play a night game here, it's a little bit cooler than when you play a day game. I mean, day games are gorgeous here, but night games kind of cool off. And but now they said, the ball's traveling, so I'll go with it.
Giambi said it's become an urban legend here at Target Field, but whatever, the Twins do seem to be hitting more home runs.
Yeah, and I have some land in Florida, too, I'd like to sell you. But, no, hopefully the Twins will continue to hit the long ball here starting tonight again.
And the pitching staff has done a better job of keeping the ball in the yard, especially Samuel DeDuno. He'll make the start tonight as the Twins hope to win the series early against the Indians. Brilliant outing last night, and everybody pitching now wants a little piece of Albers. Whatever's working for him, they want it to work for them.
That's right. Touch him.
Samuel DeDuno will make the start tonight for the Minnesota Twins, taking on the Indians. Terry Francona's team by their fingernails, hanging in the race in the American League Central. It's been another disappointing August for the Indians. Bernard's batting order for the Indians. Michael Bourne leading off, Nick Swisher, Jason Kipnis as Drupal Cabrera in the cleanup spot. Michael Brantley, Carlos Santana, Ryan Rayburn, Lonnie Chisenhall, and Jan Gomes.
Samuel Deduno on the mound tonight. He will try to do what Elbers did, is that's work quick, which Deduno has a pretty good pace. He's making his 15th start, his second against the Indians. He faced the Indians back in Cleveland back on June 21st against Scott Kazmir, was the pitcher for the Indians at that time. He lost that ball game 5-1. Deduno looking for his 8th win. That would tie Kevin Correa for the club lead.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Josh Willingham back in left. Lee Thomas in center. Oswaldo Arcia in right. Blue, Florimone, Dozier, and Bauer at first base. Justin Morneau, the designated hitter. Chris Herman catching back-to-back games. And for Bauer, opportunity to play a couple of games last night as a designated hitter, and tonight as the first baseman without having to catch.
Well, Herman did such a good job last night calling the game, and that's the second time we've seen that combination between Elbers and Herman. And, you know, why not stay with a hot hand?
Twins have a day game tomorrow, so Mauro is only going to catch one game or the other, not both. And so very likely, probable, certain perhaps that Mauro will catch tomorrow. A little bit better or a normal day after for Albers, who after his start in Kansas City did 20-some radio interviews, and a much more normal day today for him, but still very much in demand after a great outing again last night. Deduno ready. He'll face Bourne, Swisher, and Kipnis in the first. Strike on the outside corner. We have not seen the home plate umpire before. His name is Adam Hamari. Tapper up the line, foul, 2 strikes, and Deduno so far doing a nice imitation of Albers in terms of getting ahead of hitters. Strike 1, strike 2. Hamari has the plate. Andy Fletcher, Rob Drake, and Sam Holbrook on the bases.
Yeah, a lot of times the umpires, of course, are all under one hat right now, and there are umpires that are still taking their vacation. So allow some of these guys that are a lot of times in AAA getting an opportunity to umpire at the major league level. Guy you want to keep off the bases right here, Michael Bourne. Very quick.
And another Tapper foul. Amari, just in case you're wondering, is a Michigan native. He's worked in 7 different minor leagues. Getting an opportunity to call balls and strikes in a big league game. In the dirt, 1-2. One thing that stands out about Deduno compared to other Twin starters, Scott Diamond sent down because he gave up way too many hits and a very high opponent batting average. The other 3 starters in the rotation, not counting Albers, who's only made 2 starts, 2-2. Kevin Correa has an opponent batting average of .303. Kyle Gibson has an opponent batting average of .308. Mike Pelfrey an opponent batting average of .305, and Deduno's .259. That's not a lot, a little bit better than everybody else. That's a lot better.
Yeah, and he's only given up 5 home runs. He's kept the ball in the ballpark. Left-handers are hitting only .217. Right-handers are hitting .311. So he's had better success against left-handed hitters.
Gets him to swing at ball 4. And Bourne claiming it was foul tipped into the dirt. And Hamari's going to have a first at-bat issue with Terry Francona. Bourne swung at a pitch down and in. He claims he fouled it into the dirt, meaning it's a dead ball and the at-bat's still alive. And instead, Hamari ruled that Bourne didn't make contact. It was just a pitch in the dirt.
So Bourne walks back to the dugout, a strikeout victim for Deduno. Looks a little dejected right there. You can see the pitch.
I don't think
it's hard to tell at that angle, but it looked like he swung through it.
Bourne retired on a strikeout, and that'll bring up Nick Swisher.
Roy Smalley, you're down there. Did you hear a tick at all?
I didn't know what the argument was about. I never ever thought he made contact with it.
Here is Swisher, and there is ball 1. Swisher hitting a .240 in his first year with the Indians, and now down and away 2-0.
Hey, struggling a little bit more as a left-handed hitter, a switch hitter, hitting .220 as a left-handed hitter, .279 as a right-hander.
Down the middle, a strike.
Yeah, Doduno in his last start in Kansas City, Twins lost that ball game 5-2, 5 2/3 innings, a season high 12 hits he allowed. Did not walk anybody. But he went into the 6th inning in a 4-2 ball game, kept the club in the game, and then exited. And the Twins ended up losing 5-2. Prior to that, his 4 previous starts before in Kansas City were all quality starts.
Half swing, strike 3. And Swisher heads back to the dugout, 2 down. And that'll bring up Jason Kipnis.
Doduno striking out the first 2 batters, a season high 6 strikeouts a couple times, so not much of a strikeout pitcher, but good way to start the ball game.
See Swisher looking back at Hamari, not about strike 3, but the called strike 2. Here is Kipnis. Strike 1. Kipnis with one of the 2 hits allowed by Albers last night. And 2 strikes now to Kipnis. Where Albers does not have a strikeout pitch, Doduno does, and we've seen it twice already. Get 2 strikes on the hitter and throw that late breaking, sharp breaking pitch. That one something that tailed away from the left-handed batter, and Doduno strikes out the side in the first. With himself in a very purposeful first inning, I should say, striking out the side. Ron Gardenhire 15 wins away from the 1,000 mark. On our batting order for the Twins, Brian Dozier leading off, Joe Mauer batting second, Justin Morneau, Josh Willingham, Oswaldo Arcia, Trevor Plouffe, Chris Herman, Clete Thomas, and Pedro Florimon.
And for the Indians today, it'll be 6'6" Zach McAllister making his 16th start and his first this season against the Twins.
Strike on the outside corner to Dozier. Started the ball game last night on the 2nd pitch of the game, hitting a home run, his 12th of the year. This one hit to right center field. Out there to make the catch, Ryan Rayburn, one away.
Yeah, that solo home run, or that leadoff home run, was the 2nd in his career. He did one earlier this year.
Northland Ford defense for the Indians. Michael Bradley in left, Michael Bourne in center. Ryan Rayburn just signed to a contract extension in right field. Lonnie Chisenhall at third. Cabrera Kipnis up the middle. Swisher at first, and Gomes back behind the plate. One down, and now first baseman Joe Mauer. It is left-handers day today, and we've got two right-handed starting pitchers. Doesn't seem quite right, but maybe Mauer, a left-handed batter, will be a key part to a Twins win. Over the inside corner, 0-2.
Well, McAllister spent about 7 weeks on a disabled list, that right middle finger strain.
Corey Kluber's got it now. Jam shot and an easy play for McAllister, 2 down. And that'll bring up Morneau.
Yeah, talking to people in Cleveland, they feel that it's because of the curveball that these guys have hurt their middle finger on their pitching hand. And a couple of them came over. I know Tom Hamilton came over, and we talked about it. And I have a baseball here, and I showed him my grip, and there's nothing that your middle finger would, you know, as far as the knuckle area, come into play as much.
2 down, and here is Justin Morneau. And there is strike 1.
Now, in spring training, McAllister came up with a split finger. He was working on that, which they kind of took away from him, thinking that maybe that was some of the reason. But that middle finger strain.
McAllister trying to expand the outside corner. He missed 1-1.
And McAllister making his 4th career start against the Twins, the other 3 coming last year. He has yet to beat the Twins. 0-3 with an ERA at 8.
Over the Cleveland dugout, out of play, 1-2.
Now, last year in his 3 starts, he worked a total of 9 innings against the Twins, allowed 15 runs, 8 earned runs, 7 unearned runs in his starts, but he did give up 3 home runs, 2 to Willingham and 1 to Justin.
Fouled back. Still 1-2.
McAllister coming off a very short start in his last start against the Tigers. Worked only 2 1/3 innings, gave up 6 runs, 5 earned against the Tigers. Lost that ball game 10-3.
So he would like to bounce back, as Deduno would like to bounce back after a disappointing outing. Willingham on deck, hoping for a chance here in the first inning. And Morneau protecting the plate, gets a piece of it. Another 2-2. And another foul ball. Twins had a 4-game series with the White Sox. Didn't see their ace, Chris Sale. And now a 3-game series with the Indians. And they won't see the Cleveland ace, Justin Masterson. Kluber was supposed to, Kazmir was supposed to start tomorrow. And he's had a bit of a dead arm, so they pushed him back a few days. And Carlos Carrasco is going to make the start tomorrow for the Indians. 2-2 to Morneau, having a long battle here in the first inning against McAllister. Hard on the ground, foul into the camera well. Hit hard to center, but right at Bourne. A 1-2-3 bottom of the first inning with 3 balls put in play. No score. strikeouts in his first inning. That would strongly suggest, Roy Smalley, that his ball's jumping all over the place.
It really is, guys. You know, I really felt like his last outing in Kansas City, his fastball was a little straight, didn't have the great movement, but this ball is just really diving down, and you guys are calling it a slider, and that's what it looks like even down here.
Ball put in play, hit right at Dozier for a quick first out in the second inning.
But unless he's come up with a 91-mile-an-hour slider, that's that fastball, that great fastball movement again. And I remember the time before in Kansas City when he pitched so well and beat the Royals. He threw some fastballs that I swore were sliders. I went to Rick Anderson after the game and he said, nope. He said, those are fastballs with unbelievable movement. So far, that's what we've seen.
Yeah, that start back in late June in Kansas City, and he won that ball game 3-1.
Bert and Dick, do you remember him striking out the outfielder David Lowe, with 3 just nasty pitches?
Yes.
And those were the pitches that he got in trouble. And Lowe was the hitter, left-hand hitter, and he threw 3 down toward his back foot. I could have sworn they were sliders, and Rick Anderson said, nope, that's the fastball.
1 strike to Michael Brantley. Driven to left, and Willingham makes the catch. A couple of quick outs here in the second. It's amazing when you think what Deduno has done for the Twins this year, for that matter, what he did for them last year. And yet the Twins did not keep him on the 40-man roster. That's surprising in and of itself. But no one else did either. 29 other teams had a chance to add him to the 40-man roster, and they all passed. The Twins ended up signing him to a minor league deal. He came to camp, went to the WBC, got hurt, but pitched very well, and then was added to the roster later.
Yeah, I don't know if other clubs were afraid of his control, because last year he walked 53 in 79 innings, but still won 6 ball games.
Top foul out of play.
And he credits the WBC, you know, for kind of getting him going a little bit this year, even though he did hurt himself and missed the whole month of April with a little bit of a hamstring injury. But you know what? You can see the confidence growing in this young man.
3 strikeouts in the first, and 5 pitches, gets 3 outs in the second.
There, is he peeking again?
It doesn't have the best seat in the house right there, but
he's got the right stance, though, I'll tell you that.
You can vote for the Arby's Value Player of the Game. Text the word value followed by a space in the player's name to short code 234-234. Josh Willingham, Oswaldo Arcia, Trevor Plouffe in the second. Willingham has absolutely owned Zach McAllister so far. There have been 6 plate appearances, and McAllister is yet to record an out against Willingham. He's walked him twice, given up 4 hits, including 2 home runs.
And Josh has knocked in 5 runs.
2-1.
It's good to see Willingham back-to-back nights out in left field. You know, when he first came back, he did a lot of only DHing for the Twins. Did a good job last night defensively.
Off the plate, 3-1.
Really like what they're doing.
1-1. A pitch grounded, knocked down. Oh, Bauer had to go by him. Dozier can't make the play. So first and second, nobody out. Rayburn advancing to second on a ball that looked like it went right through Mauer.
I think maybe what Joe was trying to do is get it over to second before he actually got the ball in his glove. Watch Joe jump off the right there. Oh, the ball just kind of ate him up right there.
Yeah, that ball was hit really, really hard, and he got an in-between hop there on the third hop, and just a tough play to come up with when you're coming off the bag like that as a first baseman, especially someone that doesn't play there every day. You don't see a lot of those in-between hops when you play first base once every 30 games.
Error charged to Mauer. That'll bring up Jan Gomes. Tying run at second, nobody out, and Deduno's going to have to pitch his way out of a jam here. The leadoff walk didn't help.
Well, you want to pick up your defense, and let's see if the Deduno can do that. He's had 11 double plays turned behind him so far in his first 14 starts.
One strike to Gomes, moving down to the 9th spot in the batting order. Breaking ball over, strike 2. Rayburn drew the leadoff walk. He's at second. And Chisenhall at first. Liner to left on an 0-2 pitch. And a base hit to left will fill the bases. Willingham's throw cut off by Plouffe.
Got too good a pitch right there. 0-2. Looked like a breaking ball he just left up. We saw the strikeouts in the first inning, everything down, and I think that's what Deduno is trying to do. He just left this pitch up to Gomes.
Boy, I don't know.
Yeah, not bad pitch right there, but Gomes just reached down and hit it softly in the left field.
Loaded up now for Michael Bourne. Mauer and Plouffe will play a little bit in front of their bases. They'll come home if they get a ground ball. Middle infielders will try to turn a conventional double play. And there's one hit to Dozier. Safe at first. Bourne beat it out.
Yeah, tough guy to double up. He has only hit into 1 double play this year. He and his speed down that first baseline.
Get credit for a run batted in. Bourne will, and it's a 1-apiece ball game.
Quickest turn you could do right there, but Bourne just beat it out. Stays out of the double play. Rayburn scores. That's a 1-1 ball game.
And now Swisher, who went down swinging in the first. The leadoff walk comes around to score. Swing and a miss. Swisher swings over the top of that sinking fastball.
He had the speedy Bourne now at first base, and you have to watch him. He has 17 stolen bases, but there's only been 2 attempts against Deduno when he's been on that mound. 1 has been successful, 1 was thrown out. Indians like to run. They have 86 stolen bases on the year.
And again, Swisher swinging at that darting fastball and got a piece of it. 0-2. Deduno struck him out with a breaking pitch in the dirt. Herman's got to have the confidence, you would think, to call that pitch again, even with a runner at third.
And as a pitcher, you have to have the confidence that your catcher will block it if you just throw it on the other side of the plate. He went with that fastball away that had some tail on it, and Swisher just got a piece of it. Quick first inning on 15 pitches. Quick second inning on only 5 pitches for Doduno. And 15 so far here in the third.
Liner to Mauer, and he'll turn it into a double play. Swisher blasted a curveball right at the first baseman. The Indians tie it up in the third. Link, your link to what's next. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. Tied at 1, the Twins, of course, getting their run on a home run. Lee Thomas will lead off the third. And he takes ball 1. Twins right now have hit 114 home runs. This is their 117th game. Thomas swings and fouls it 1-1. They could, by the end of the homestand, very easily get back onto a home run per game pace. 2-1. Steinbach discussing maybe pitch selection with Chris Herman. Terry was one of the best, and it was something he had to learn, and he had to learn from one of the toughest people to learn it from. That was Tony La Russa. Terry will tell you Tony was just very hard on him as Terry, of course, third baseman, converted to a catcher. 3-1, and Thomas lifts it foul and out of play. And La Russa was a former catcher in his playing days, and Tony had some very definite ideas about how a game should be called, and Terry learned from one of the best, and now he's trying to impart some of that wisdom on to Herman. 3-2 to Clete Thomas, and another foul.
You know, guys, one of the things that Terry might be talking to Chris Herman about is to notice what kind of stuff your pitcher has and how the hitters are reacting. Sam Doduno's throwing that fastball underneath their bats. They haven't even come close to one yet, and they've hit line drives off the curveball. So they might be having a discussion about that.
Foul ball wide at first.
A lot of it, too, sometimes is how you set up as far as where your glove is located. Get that glove maybe a little bit lower, because some pitchers do focus on that glove. And when you see it, you know, below your shin guards, pretty much your knees, maybe it'll get them back down in the strike zone.
Yeah, I like that a lot, Bert. And I think that for the next few innings, based on the third inning and those line drives that hit on the curveball, he ought to throw the curveball, but he ought to really concentrate on bouncing it just to show it to him.
Right.
To left center field. Down for a hit. Thomas rounds first, on his way to second. And it's a leadoff double. Now get him in.
Get him over first.
Get him over first and then get him in.
Just hit a 2-run home run. Good at bat for Clete Thomas. He fouled off some pitches and then a fastball that he just hit in the right spot. Brantley and Bourne good with good speed, but this ball just splits the gap right there. And it's a double for Thomas, his 11th double, second hit for the Twins.
Now Florimone's been struggling at the plate, and a pretty good bet he's going to be asked to bunt here.
Right. If he's not asked to bunt, he should probably bunt on his own. Advance the runner. Maybe gets one swing right here.
One strike to Florimone.
Gardy's MO is to let the hitters do it themselves, but they have to get the job done.
Right.
I mean, you just have to do it. So if you're not swinging good, you got to bunt. You just do it on your own.
Up and away, 1-1.
See, there he showed bunt right there. You're hitting 7th, 8th, 9th in a lineup for a reason. And in these situations here, you have to get that runner over. And see if he squares around again.
Florimone leads the team, but with just 4 sacrifice bunts. The team only has 22 sacrifice bunts. Bunted hard and foul. So now 1-2 to Florimone.
There's a sacrifice bunt, and then there's a bunt to try to get a base hit. He has to square around and lay the ball down. Don't run out of the box. Just lay it down. Give yourself up.
Well, the Twins took 3 out of 4 in Chicago, but Ron Gardenhire would tell you, that we really didn't play that well. There were a lot of leadoff doubles that were left on the bases. They didn't execute situational hitting very well. See what happens here now on 1-2. There you go. A bouncer to the first baseman, Swisher, and Florimone got it done on the third strike.
Yeah, good job by Florimone.
Now's as good a time as any to get a group together and head down to Target Field. Organize your business, church, school, or maybe some of your neighbors and friends. Make a game of it. Visit twinsbaseball.com/groups. Or call 800-33-TWINS and get a great deal on group tickets today.
You see Tom Vernansky talking to him right there. That's a good at-bat. Even though it's an 0 for 1, that's a good at-bat. You gave yourself up to advance the runner. Now Thomas 90 feet away.
Dozier takes a strike.
And manager Terry Francona of the Cleveland Indians needs to talk to his pitcher and catcher about pitch selection now. I mean, he gave him an absolute cookie, a little breaking ball that he just had time to get the bat head out and hit it to the right side. Throwing fastballs by him. We saw that on the first pitch. He wasn't comfortable on the fastball bunt, and then throwing a little breaking ball that is about the easiest pitch for a left-hander to hit over to the right side.
Middle infielders playing back, and Dozier takes strike 2.
So good job. You guys are right. Good job by Florimone, but it was aided and abetted.
Well, you take advantage of the pitcher's mistake.
You bet.
And he did.
You bet.
Got to go back almost a week to find a run batted in a situation like this. Dozier strikes out. 2 down. They went up and in. Dozier chased.
And McAllister picking up a big strikeout, going with that fastball up and in, and Dozier swinging out of his element right there. McAllister picking up his second strikeout.
His follow through may have caught Gomes' glove. So that'll leave it up to Mauer to try to get Thomas in from third.
When you're playing well, guys pick up each other. Let's see if Joe Mauer can pick up Dozier right here.
Really got jammed in his first at bat with McAllister and hit a comebacker. Outside ball one. Thomas at third after leading off the inning with a double. Foul, 1-1. Mauer coming into the game 3 for 6 against McAllister. I don't know who makes up the playlist here at Target Field. 1-1 to Mauer. High fly center field. Bourne calls for it. The selection before that pitch was Boston's song "Long Time," and it's been a long time since the Twins have scored a run without a home run. Royals and Marlins are tied scoreless in the top of the 4th inning. Jamie Carroll in the starting lineup today because Mike Moustakas has some tightness in his left calf. They reported at the ballpark today that it was much better than it was yesterday, but Carroll, who was expected to revolve around at second base with Chris Getz in a platoon system at second, getting some time at third, and now Kipnis lashes the first pitch to left center field. Willingham spins and fires, and Kipnis back at first, just barely gets back. Nice job by Willingham fielding it, spinning and hitting the cutoff man. It's a leadoff single, not a double.
And you know what? Kipnis has had a very good season against Twins pitching this year. He's hitting well over 400, but good base running by Kipnis too. Hit that ball in the gap, hustles down the line, he makes that big turn, make that outfielder make a good play. That's what he did right there. He saw that Willingham got that ball back in, able to get back to the first base. So good hustle by Kipnis. Let's see if Doduno right here can get a ground ball off the bat of Cabrera.
Indians got a run in the third after a leadoff walk to Rayburn. Now a leadoff single. Kipnis chased back to the bag.
Well, Kipnis with 21 stolen bases. So keep an eye on him at first base.
Cabrera hit a ground ball to Dozier his first time up. Whoa! And Kipnis will scamper to second. Terribly wild pitch. Herman did well to get a glove on it.
Unbelievable. That You know, when Doduno first started this year back in May, we said he was effectively wild. And this ball just got away from him. Herman knocked it down and then got behind him, and that's what Kipnis saw, and he took off. It should be a wild pitch, even though it was in the air to Herman. And a wild pitch is charged to Doduno. That's his 6th wild pitch of the year.
1-0 to Cabrera. Rolled to short. Kipnis doesn't advance and stands in front of the ground ball for a while. Florimon enjoying the moment with Kipnis, who just kind of stood there and made Florimon look between his legs.
Well, trying to block him out a little bit. So Cabrera unable to advance Kipnis over to third with a ground ball to short. Look, watch Kipnis right here. Just kind of holds his ground, and then at the last second, and Florimon, good concentration, watch the ball.
Yeah, but you know, guys, that's not a good base running play by Kipnis. That ball was hit softly right at him. If you're aggressive off of second base with your lead, you go to third easily on that ball.
Here's Brantley. Down low, ball 1.
Is that something you can see from second base?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're the runner out there. You want to try to make the ball be behind you on the ground, right? If the ball's hit to your left, you go. And when the ball's hit slowly right at you like that, if you're aggressive, you can get to third without the shortstop even looking at you.
And a ground ball up the middle, a base hit. Kipnis will turn to third and score. The Indians take their first lead. An earned run here in the 4th. I had the 3rd inning run being an unearned run.
Yes, it was.
So 2-1 Cleveland.
Well, Brantley picking up his 55th RBI.
Still have plenty of great baseball here at Target Field, and you can be here. You can check out the Steal of the Week and demand-based pricing for great deals on single-game purchases all season long. These and other special deals available every day of the week at twinsbaseball.com/tickets and by calling 800-33-TWINS. Santana takes ball 1. The Indians getting the runner in from second base with nobody out. Twins failed to do that in the bottom of the 3rd. High fly to center. Thomas making the catch out, number 2. And that'll bring up Raven. You can participate in our AT&T Twitter poll. Throughout this homestand, we're asking which current Twins game jersey is your favorite. Got the all-white one way on the left. That's the one the Twins are wearing today. And use the appropriate hashtag. I think the voting was equally split among the 5 entries last night.
Not among you guys. You guys like the home ivory, and
yeah.
I'm going to make it unanimous. I think those are really cool.
Herman gets enough of that to keep Brantley at first. I think one of the reasons I like the ivory ones, I think the most dramatic moment here in this ballpark was Jim Thome's home run against Matt Thornton that turned a loss into a win. Without question, the most dramatic moment in this ballpark, and the Twins were wearing the ivory uniforms that night. So I think I'm sentimental to that uniform for, in part, that reason. A little dribbler, and Doduno kicks it around a little bit, and everyone's going to be safe. Wasn't sure quite how to secure that in the glove, and turns out he didn't at all.
Well, I think what we've seen from Doduno, a very good athlete as far as, covering first, and he bounced on this ball right here. But when he went to get it, watch, he kind of clanked it right there with his glove.
Another Twins error.
And Bert, we've seen that from Samuel. You have a pretty good image of a lot of very poorly hit balls back around the mound that somehow just don't get converted into outs.
Lonnie Chisenhall reached on an error charged to Joe Mauer last inning.
Well, even the best athletes on the field make mistakes.
It was one of those balls that Roy talked about that caused Joe Girardi to utter his famous quote to me that if you hit it to a pitcher long enough, they'll screw one up. 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. We have seen DeDuno do a better job in situations like this where the edges are a little frayed in the inning and things aren't really going well, but limiting the damage to 1 run rather than 3 or 4. We'll see if he fares that well here in the 4th. 2-1.
Yeah, fighting us at control a little bit. Remember in the first inning, he came out and everything was bang, bang, bang down in the strike zone. Now he's starting to leave some pitches up.
48 pitches, 32 strikes, 16 balls. Snap bat. Dozier with the catch to end the inning. A run for the Indians on a pair of hits, a wild pitch and an error. It's 2-1 Cleveland. New premium McGrath at McDonald's today. I'm loving it. And by Toyota. Let's go places. To find your nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Pepsi fan of the game, enjoying the first few innings here. Hoping the Twins can come back after trailing now 2-1. Justin Morneau takes a strike on the outside corner. I think we have established that the home plate umpire likes to call strikes.
Doesn't make him a bad guy.
1 strike to Morneau and a foul back, 2 strikes. Home plate umpire again is Adam Hamari. A temporary major league umpire. 2 strikes from McAllister to Morneau. Got him out front and a lazy fly to left center. Brantley puts it away, 1 down. And it'll bring up Willingham, just the guy that McAllister wants to see. And Jan Gomes to the mound, trying to encourage McAllister, saying, hey, look, just throw it down the middle, he'll get himself out.
Or he may hit another one into the second deck.
Willingham again, 5 for 5 with 3 home runs and 2 walks against McAllister. Just missed the outside.
And again, what happens? You fall behind early. McAllister done a good job of keeping the ball in the ballpark. That Willingham home run, only the 8th he's allowed, this being his 16th start.
2-0.
What do you know? Let me get a guy that's cute, that's wearing me out in another hitter's count.
It was 3-1. And then Willingham got a fastball and fouled it 3-2. Got another one and hammered it into the second deck.
Fastball away.
What do you think the chances are he's got the green light here?
Well, you'd have it if I were the manager, I'll tell you that.
Well, I think McAllister thought that was a strike. He kind of turned around and looked at the scoreboard, saw it was 3-0.
There's a strike on the outside corner. Arcia next. Twins with 2 hits, both of them extra base hits. And Willingham squirts one to Swisher. Finally got him. 2 down. Tomorrow, the series finale. It is not on television. It is on Twins Squeeze Play. 30-minute condensed version of select non-televised Twins games. You can catch the action as the Twins battle the Indians. Watch Twins Squeeze Play tomorrow at 7 o'clock only on Fox Sports North. The game will be played a little after noon tomorrow, and it'll feature Kyle Gibson going against Carlos Carrasco. Arcia fouls it back, 1 strike.
Yeah, Gibson will be making his 9th start for the Twins.
Another game won't be televised, and that's Monday, the makeup game with the Mets. And that'll be another squeeze play presentation Monday night. But it looks as if the Twins narrowly will escape Matt Harvey in that game. He's starting tonight for the Mets, and assuming everything stays in turn, would pitch again Sunday. Otherwise, the Twins would have the tough task of having faced the Mets 3 games this year and getting Matt Harvey twice. Took a no-hitter into the 7th inning against the Twins here back in April. 2-1 to Arcia. And fouled over the Cleveland dugout. Have won a series in Cleveland left this year. That's in the next road trip. Pop fouling out of play, and they close out this regular season here at Target Field against the Indians. They've got a 4-game series. Wrap up the season, and the Indians hope that their season will continue on after that weekend series here at Target Field. 2-2 to Arcia. Foul back again. You know, it's funny how a good stretch of baseball, and then it coincides with a bad stretch for a team like the Indians. If the Twins were to win tonight and then win again tomorrow, they'd be just 5 games in the loss column behind the Indians. And the Indians have been one of the great stories of baseball this year. 2-2 to Arcia. 3-2. And Jeffrey Francona, rightly so, been given some mention for candidacy for American League Manager of the Year. But if the Twins have a good 24 hours here, the Twins will just be 5 games behind the Indians in the loss column.
Yeah, again, we talked about the wild card. That's what the Royals and the Indians are shooting for. And of course, the Twins would like to be the spoiler.
Another foul by Arcia.
All fastballs up, and Arcia's fouled off.
And gotten the sweet part of the bat on every single one of them. I can't tell you guys, from right down here looking straight at Arcia from about 30 feet. It's been a home run swing after home run swing. He's just getting under it.
And he takes ball 4. That will get Plouffe to the plate with a man on and 2 outs.
First walk for McAllister.
It's the 3rd successful plate appearance for the Twins. A home run by Willingham, the leadoff double by Thomas, and now a 2-out walk by Arcia. Plouffe fouled out to Gomes near the Twins on deck circle. popped up behind second base. Cabrera out, Bourne in. And Bourne with the catch. The inning ends. On to the fifth. The Indians lead it 2-1.
Heading into the top of the fifth, I'm Jamie Hirsch inside the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle with Scott enjoying a ball game with some family friends. You said this is your first time out to Target Field. How's it going so far?
It's a beautiful night for baseball. We're having a good time.
He came up with this lovely poem here, roses are red, violets are blue. Come on, Bert, circle us too. And actually, we have another Bert right here. You want to say hi to the other Bert? Hi. Hi, Bert. Well, he just circled you. I'm sure he's excited to share a name. We are excited to give you $100 worth of scratch-offs to the Minnesota Lottery, Scott.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Enjoy the ball game.
Thank you, Jamie. And Bert and family, you're here by circle.
And again on the first pitch, Yan Gomes drives one to second base. He's in with a leadoff double. Saw Kipnis get the leadoff single in the fourth on the first pitch. And now Gomes drives a double into the right field corner.
Yeah, his second hit off of Deduno, jumping on that first pitch. Not a bad pitch. Remember in his first at-bat, he hit a breaking ball that was down. This ball pretty much down, but just takes it down that right field line. For Gomes, his 11th double.
And Michael Bourne drove in the first Cleveland run with a ground ball. Looked like it might have been a double play grounder, but Bourne beat the relay. First pitch missing low with Bourne showing bunt. Pitch count still very good for Deduno, but he's had to pitch out of trouble in each of the last 3 innings now.
Yeah, Bourne has 2 sacrifices on the year. He knows what his job is, as Florimon did in the 3rd inning for the Twins. Advanced the runner over.
2-0. Swing and a miss. There's a bunt, and Deduno will make the play to Mauer. Sacrifice, advancing Gomes.
So Bourne does his job, advances the runner Gomes over to third.
And like Florimon, took one swing and then decided he'd try to bunt. Florimon didn't drop the bunt down, but he hit a ground ball to advance the runner.
I think he got to go ahead and swing because of the count. It was 2-0, so he's guessing fastball. He just swung through it.
Nick Swisher, the batter. Twins will bring the infield in. Swisher struck out in the first on a curveball. and then got a breaking pitch around the knees, and he had a screaming line drive to Mauer for a double play. And Herman blocks it and then kicks it towards the dugout. Bottom line is he kept Gomes at third base.
Again, with Deduno on the mound, you have to be ready for anything. You don't know where that ball's going. Sometimes Deduno doesn't know where that ball's going. Look at that ball. Almost hits Swisher in the right knee. And somehow Herman blocked it. Gomes thought about it, but went back to third. Good job by Herman.
1-0 to Swisher. Again, swinging over that fastball, cutter, whatever it is, it just darts down and in to a left-handed batter at 92 miles per hour.
Well, Swisher usually pretty good at picking up runs, struggling a little bit this year in this situation.
.37 runs batted in. That's it for Swisher. He's got a great RBI chance here. Smothered by Herman again.
Swisher last year with the Yankees played in 148 ball games, drove in 93 runs for the Yankees.
And we're getting up to close to 400 at bats now for Swisher. Deduno really struggling with his control. 3-1. Just one walk, but it was a leadoff walk and cost him a run in the third. But there have been wild pitches in the dirt. If Herman can get him funneled back into the strike zone. And a walk, putting him at first base.
Rick Anderson coming out. Quick trip to the mound by the pitching coach.
First and third, one down. And if you're looking for a new pair of sunglasses but don't want to try to squeeze them into your budget, come to a Twins game, specifically the Friday game against the White Sox. The first 10,000 fans will get a pair of Twins branded Aviator sunglasses prior to the game. Presented by the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel. You can get tickets by calling 833-TWINS or visiting twinsbaseball.com.
Well, tough situation right here with Jason Kipnis up. I mentioned his last at bat. He's hitting well over 400 against Twins pitching, but he's also knocked in a lot of runs. 17 runs driven in this year for Kipnis against the Twins
in just 10 games.
Yep.
Singled and scored a run in the fourth.
Yeah, there are the numbers right there. Look at that, hitting .447 against the Twins.
Down and in, ball one. Deduno had a rough one against the Royals, but the Royals lineup clicking right now. Gave up a dozen hits in 5 2/3 innings, 4 runs. 1-0 to Kipnis. Chopped foul, 1-1.
Well, for Deduno, he's pitched very well here at home. 5 of his last 6 starts have been on the road, so I'm sure he's happy to be here, just not happy the way that's going about so far. But 61 pitches. 5 pitches in that second inning helped. 3-1 here at Target Field this year in 5 starts with a 2.45 ERA coming into this ball game. Again, 11 double plays turned behind him. He could get a ground ball.
This one chopped to Mauer, and they'll get the out and allow the run. Mauer goes to the bag. It'll be another run batted in for Kipnis. Gomes comes in from third. It's 3-1.
Yeah, Gomes got a pretty good jump right there off of third. I don't know if Joe, if he feels that ball, he throws right to Herman. He might have had a play. It's kind of like a swinging bunt right here by Kipnis. Watch Gomes right here taking off. And it's kind of hit slowly to Joe. He may have had a chance to get him at home. but decides to get the out at first.
I think the hop he was going to get made up his mind where he was going to go. He was going to have to get that short hop, and he just couldn't quite get there. And if he kept charging, it was going to be an in-between hop that he might not have come up with. So I think he decided to take the sure out, and probably not a bad decision. He would have had to make a heck of a play charging that ball and getting the short hop in order to have time to get it Gomes at the plate.
Yeah, Kipnis gets the RBI, his 18th against the Twins and his 69th of the year.
Swinging strike for Cabrera, 0-1. And off the plate, 1-1. A pitcher's duel in Kansas City tonight. Jose Fernandez going for the Marlins, guy with all the stuff in the world, and Bruce Chen going for the Royals. Off speed pitch and a lazy fly to center, and Willingham doesn't see it, and Florimon does. It's twilight here, and it's the witching hour on pop-ups and fly balls. Duno gives up another run in the fifth. Keep adding runs. It's grown to a 3-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning.
You showed me that. Was that from Rod Carew?
Yeah, Mr. Carew.
He wants to be circled.
All the honors in the world. 7 batting championships, Hall of Fame induction, and apparently he has not been circled by you yet, and it is on his bucket list.
Well, I don't know if I've ever circled somebody that's actually not here at the game.
2 strikes to Herman. The number 29 that's been retired here.
Well,
would that suffice?
That would be nice.
2 strikes to Herman. He'll be followed by Clete Thomas and then Pedro Florimon. Whoa! That pitch was a strike in the first inning. And Herman still has his at bat alive. Tapper under the glove of McAllister, and Herman retired on a close play. 1 down.
Well, let's see if we can. I know Rod's not here, but his number has been retired here, so we're going to circle Rod Carew right there. So, Rod, you are hereby circled. Check off his bucket list.
That's right.
Check.
So 1 down on the fifth, and that'll bring up Clete Thomas. He doubled to right center's first time up, but was left at third base. A chronic problem for the Twins over the last well, it's been longer than a week, but it's really been an issue within the last week when the Twins have only scored on home runs. And then you look at the Indians, they got a leadoff double in the 5th and work the guy around for a run.
I'll tell you what, McAllister is pounding the strike zone. 77 pitches, 54 have been strikes.
Thomas slaps it foul. Still 1-2. Oh, third strike. He clipped the corner. 2 down.
And McAllister picks up his 3rd strikeout.
America's new sports network is almost here. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for live sports. Shows like Crowd Goes Wild, Fox Football Daily, and Fox Sports Live. The news and highlight show fans have been waiting for. America's new sports network. Fox Sports 1 premieres in 4 days.
Well, McAllister now has gotten strike 1 on 14 of the 18 batters he's faced.
And a chopper, foul, 2 strikes. Another one of your former teammates, Dave Goltz, came by here. And it was always nice to see Dave and see what's new up in the Rothsay area where he's still involved with his insurance practice. Florimone strikes out. And the Twins go down 1-2-3 in the 5th inning. The Indians lead it 3-1. Now on FoxSportsNorth.com. Return of Wilkin Ramirez, and could Justin Morneau be on the move? Plus complete coverage from Vikings training camp. Look at the Wolves caravan stop in Rochester. I can imagine that Wilkin Ramirez will be in center field tomorrow for the day game, perhaps giving Clete Thomas a day off. First pitch, and again the Indians swinging away. Brantley taps it foul. Thanks, by the way, from Mr. Carew for circling you, and he says there's always a first time, and this was it.
I know that made him happy too. He's smiling right now.
And regarding Dave Goltz's visit here, I'm supposed to pass along a message to his fishing buddy Dean Yackley that Dean was right. I did grow up in Dumont, Minnesota, and I don't know if there's money involved in a wager or anything like that, but they went through Dumont yesterday on their way to a Big Stone Lake to do some fishing, and went through Dumont. 1-1 to Michael Brantley. Carlos Santana, Ryan Rayburn will follow. 2-1. Beautiful night here at the ballpark. Twins trying to do something about the scoreboard. DeDuno trying to put up a 0. The liner to left. Willingham catches it, 1 away.
And get that first guy out. The last 3 innings, this is the first time he's retired that first hitter over the last 3 innings.
Carlos Santana, the batter. Santana with a ground ball to second and a fly ball to center. Down and in. DeDuno misfires again.
Yeah, it hit him. That's what I thought. Yeah.
And now Adam Hamari says no, it didn't hit him. I heard some contact.
Yeah.
And Terry Francona is coming out to discuss it. And Hamari has said, yeah, he'll ask the other umpires. The ball, if it didn't hit Santana, took a really weird bounce.
Well, he has that pad on that right shin area or the ankle area. That's what I thought it hit. Because it kind of sounded like that. Roy, you're a lot closer. I know that we kind of heard it through the mic up there.
Yeah, I thought it had to have hit him. Actually, Ryan Rayburn, the on-deck hitter, stepped right in front of me. But it looked right as the pitch was coming up.
Oh, it hit his toe.
And, yeah, it looked like and sounded like it hit him right on the foot.
Take a listen.
And Ron Gardenhire with the predictable visit to the umpires to find out what people saw and when did they see it. Off the front foot. Listening to an interview with John Schuerholz, president of the Atlanta Braves. It's a drive to left field. Ryan Rayburn rips into one, and it's a 2-run home run. So the Indians getting 1 run apiece in innings 3, 4, and 5, and at least a 2 spot here in the 6th.
That looked like a breaking ball went right into the swing of Rayburn, and he hits his 14th home run of the year.
Yeah, another curveball hit hard by a Cleveland Indians hitter, and this one not a great pitch. As you can tell, this was a hanger right from the start.
And Rayburn putting a good swing on it, getting the barrel of the bat and hitting it into the left field bleachers.
So 2 runs in the 6th and a 5-1 Cleveland lead. Here's Lonnie Chisenhall, ball 1. Don't know if this is what's happened, of course, but the Indians, you can imagine them looking at DeDuno's pitches and saying he has no idea where the fastball is going. He's not throwing it for strikes. He has more confidence in his curveball. And rather than sitting on the fastball, it seems like, Roy, they're sitting on his curve.
I don't think they're sitting on the curve, Dick. I think that, that was a hanger right there. Yeah. You don't sit on that one. That ball just spins up there and says, hit me as hard as you want. The other breaking balls that were hit, I just think was Gomes hit one with 2 strikes, which I thought was a pitch selection mistake, but he just doesn't have real good command with that curveball. The ball's not biting and the curveball's not biting like it often has.
A lot of that is, Rick Anderson's going to come back out again for the 2nd time in as many innings, but a lot of times that's that left shoulder. You fly that left shoulder open, where I've watched DeDuno, and it's hard to control that right arm to find that consistency with it. Kind of saw that from Liriano a lot. Even though he's founded in Pittsburgh, he's having an outstanding year. But sometimes as a left-hander, you fly that right shoulder open, your arm just kind of drags. So you want to stay back a little bit more. Anthony Swarzak starting to limber up in the bullpen.
Well, a curve that hit Santana in the foot. Another one that's clubbed for a home run, then a 4-pitch walk.
You can call that a hanger that Rayburn hit. That's a hanger right there.
And now Yan Gomes, who has a single and a double against DeDuno. DeDuno retired the first 6 batters tonight. Then a leadoff walk kind of set the stage for some ugliness here in the middle innings. over the inside corner.
Boy, in that first inning, he struck out the side. That's the only 3 strikeouts he's had so far. A hit batsman, a wild pitch, the 2-run home run.
Rip to Plouffe. 2 very loud outs in addition to the hanger hit for a home run.
Gomes has had 3 very good at-bats. The single in the 3rd inning, the double, and later scored in the 5th. And right there, a pitch up, and he hammered it, but right to Plouffe.
Michael Bourne, the batter. Starting to say never really had the opportunity because Santana was hit and sent to first, but you know what the Twins need, score some runs obviously, but they need Doduno to put up a 0. The Indians have scored in 4 straight innings here.
Yeah, Doduno making his 15th start. This is his 30th major league start. 9 of his 14 previous starts, quality starts, 6 innings or more. And if he gets through this inning, this will be the 12th time in 15 starts he's gone at least 6 innings. But this isn't a good 6 innings by giving up 5 runs. 4 of them earned.
2 strikes to Bourne. So the Indians execute to score their first couple of runs, first 3 runs actually. Getting runners in from second base, less than 2 out. And then they hit the home run earlier this inning.
What a difference a night makes, because Herman was sitting way in on Bourne, and that ball's way out of the strike zone. Last night, Elbers, when Herman sat inside, that ball was inside.
1-2 to Bourne. All 3rd strike ends the inning. But a hit batter, a walk, a 2-run home run, and now it's 5-1 Cleveland.
I'm Jamie Hirschbeck here at Target Field with the subject of tonight's Grand Casino Social Spotlight. Today, little known fact, is National Left-Handers Day, and so we want to know who your favorite Twins lefty is. I had a chance to catch up with Brian Dunsing before the game. He said he and Glenn Perkins like to give each other left-handed high fives to celebrate a day like today. Of course, a couple other good lefties on this team, Joe Mauer, Justin Morneau. Share your favorites using the hashtag TwinsLefty, and we'll have our favorite comments in our post-game show.
All right, now that's pitcher or hitter, so, you know, who in the world would you?
I'm going to go back. Frankie's sweet music viola.
All right. Cy Young Award winner. What about Santana? He won 2 of those. It's Twins need to get something going offensively here. We'll see what they can do against McAllister, third time through the order.
Yeah, but Frankie won Game 7 in 1987.
Yeah. What about Jim Cott?
Yeah, kitty.
Foul back. Here comes.
Here, Dan Gladden. Oh, that hit his glove. Did you hear it? It hit his glove.
I could hear that from down here. I recognize Dan's glove. I've heard that sound before.
He's 0 for 2 in the radio booth this year. Swing and a miss by Dozier. And Gomes throws to first to complete the strikeout. 1 down.
McAllister has now struck out 3 straight. And that's his 5th strikeout. He's settled down very nicely. Gave up the home run to Willingham in the 2nd inning. First batter he faced, got behind 3-2. Willingham hit the home run. Other than that, he's allowed only 1 more hit. And that's a double to Thomas in the 3rd.
Mauer will bat 0 for 2. Strike 1.
Mentioned earlier, McAllister came into this ball game making his 4th career start against the Twins. Last year, 3 starts, an ERA at 8. Worked only a total of 9 innings in the 3 starts. But not here today. He has been outstanding. McAllister making his 42nd major league start. He has 10 wins, 16 losses in his career, just 25 years old.
One and one to Mauer. And a strike. And now 2-2.
Fastball has been steady between 89 and 92. Right now at 90 pitches for McAllister.
Just off the plate. Gomes held it for a while. 3-2 to Mauer. 4-0 on deck.
5-1 lead. Joe looked for a fastball away, hit it the other way, hopefully for an extra base hit. McAllister does not want to walk him here. Make him swing the bat.
Up the middle and through. Mauer with a base hit right over the pitching rubber.
There was a fastball. 5-1 ball game late in the game. Don't want to walk him. Fastball down. Joe got the fastball, hit it right back up the middle.
We'll bring up Morneau, a fly to center and a fly to left.
Guys, these next 3 hitters for the Twins have been right on McAllister's fastball the last couple of, both of their times up. Of course, Willingham hit 1 out. Morneau's been just missing.
Oh my. Pitch looked like it was 6 inches outside. Morneau goes out of the dirt area.
Let's see what Fox Track says.
Good heavens.
That's not 6 inches. That's, at least 4 or 5, but not 6.
Justin's gotten in a hole on that pitch being called a strike. He's pretty disgusted at this point. Both times, last 2 times up.
And now one down the middle, fouled away. And Gomes was trying to get the ball inside and maybe get an inch or 2 in off the plate.
Well, Justin has hit 6 home runs so far here in the month of August. 14 on the year.
Oh, 2 to Morneau. Lace to center. Mauer will round second, go to third. The ball rolls by Bourne, and Mauer will score. Morneau digging for third, and he is in. Bourne might have have been caught peeking up to see if Mauer was advancing to third, and he forgot the baseball.
I think that's exactly what he did right there. Bourne pretty steady out in center field. He makes his third error. Justin just smokes this ball. And Bourne comes in. Joe, you can run on Bourne. He doesn't have the best of arm, but you can see Bourne right there. He almost not looking at the ball, just put his glove down where he thought the ball was, and it got by him.
He didn't get the glove on it, didn't look like.
That'll be a single for Justin Morneau, and the error by Bourne allowing Mauer to score.
What's this? A run scored without a home run?
No RBI.
Yeah, but it's not an RBI. They didn't drive the run in.
Well, here's one they need to get in. They got to get Morneau in. Willingham at the plate would seem a pretty good candidate to do that. He's had a great history against McAllister.
And that's what I was getting at, Dick. Morneau right on the fastball for 2 straight at bats. Just fouled off about 3 or 4 that he was right on, just under it. Willingham with the home run. And the on-deck circle hitter, Arcia, right on the fastball, had about 5 of them fouled back that could have been home runs. So Twins with an opportunity here in this inning because these 3 guys have really been seeing it well.
High and tight, infield playing back. They'll concede a run on a ground ball hit just about anywhere except back to the mound. Swisher playing a deep first base, and he's well off the line. Willingham has other thoughts. 1-1. 2 home runs since coming off the disabled list, both with the bases empty. Tonight's home run leading off the 2nd inning.
Yeah, I'd like to see a home run here, but Josh's job right here is to drive in the run. Twins were unsuccessful in the 3rd inning when they had Thomas at third base with only 1 out. Didn't score.
And on the outside corner, 1-2.
Now with 2 strikes, Josh can forget about the long ball to his pull field. He can stay in the center of the diamond. You're right, a ground ball to short right here is a very successful at bat. Make this a 2-run game again in the 6th inning, and they're just fine. Love to have a single or a double or something bigger, but a ground ball to short or second makes it 5-3.
Yeah, that's
for that.
Yeah, boy, that's exactly right. Drive in this run right here. Make it a 2-run ball game. Put the pressure back on the Indians.
1-2. Foul away. Anthony Swarzak continues to warm up. It appears Deduno's night is done. Deduno gave up runs in 4 straight innings. Another 1-2 to Willingham. Hold foul over the head of Joe Vavra. McAllister again. 1-2 to Willingham. Got him with a high fastball. 2 down.
And strikeout number 6 again. Now it's up to Arcia to drive in Morneau at third with 2 outs. So McAllister going up the ladder on Willingham, and Josh swinging through it for his 6th strikeout.
There have been many clutch 2-out hits for the Twins in the last week or so. They're hoping Arcia can provide one here. Breaking ball over, strike 1.
You know, guys, the home run streak that their Twins hitters have been on is really, really nice, and that it means that some young hitters are demonstrating what we can look forward to. But it's the little runs they're not getting without having to get hits that really, really hurt.
That pitch was not inside at all. It was over the inside corner, but high, 1-1. Well, that's what I was saying, Roy, regarding the series in Chicago. Twins won 3 out of 4, but I don't think Tom Bernansky, Ron Gardner, any of the players felt they played particularly well, because they left a lot of men on base. Swing and a miss, 1-2. And
it's not just the lack of getting a base hit with a runner on second base in scoring position, for example. It's when it's not getting a guy in from third with less than 2 out. And we've had 2 opportunities so far tonight. We failed on both of them. Now, Arcia might pick this one up, but if he doesn't, there's 2 runs that could be on the board, and it's a 5-4 game, and 2 runs where you didn't even need a hit, and they were giving you the run in the middle of the infield.
1-2 to Arcia. Swing, miss. And the Twins score a run without a home run, but it took an error in center field to get that run in. It's 5-2. Of the game.
Yeah, Twins took a 1-0 lead thanks to Josh Willingham's home run, his 12th of the year. A 1-0 lead, but Indians came back with 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, and then the home run by Ryan Rayburn, making it a 5-1 lead. And McAllister, I think he's done a very good job here tonight. 7 strikeouts in the ballgame. He's allowed only 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 unearned run.
As you can see in the replays there, he's gotten the Twins to chase some high fastballs for some strikeouts in some key spots. And Samuel DeDuno unable to get some of those key strikeouts. He's out of the ball game after 6 innings. He'll give way now to Anthony Swarzak in the 7th.
Yeah, Swarzak last pitched on Saturday in Chicago, an inning in the third, 3 hits allowed, but no runs. Been doing a good job out of that bullpen. Very good ERA, right at 3.
Swisher, Kipnis, and Cabrera in the 7th inning for Cleveland. Swing and a miss, 1 strike. They are scoreless. Top of the 8th inning in Kansas City between the Marlins and the Royals.
I'll tell you what, ever since they put Bruce Chinn back in that rotation, he has been on fire.
Well, they say that some people in Kansas City say that it's one of the brilliant strokes for Ned Yost. Here's a high fly to right center field. And Arcia under it. It was Ned Yost's decision to start Chen in the bullpen, saving the veteran for what he hoped would be a little boost to the rotation, and inserted him in the rotation, and he's given him 8 really good starts in a row at a key time for the Royals. 1 down in the 7th. And it'll bring up Kipnis. Kipnis 1 for 3, an RBI, a run scored. Inside ball 1.
Left-hander's hitting .313 off of Swarzak. Right-hander's only .220. Good fastball away to even the account.
And a strike called 1-2.
Working both sides of the plate against Kipnis.
Two and two.
Well, Swarzak's allowed only 1 earned run over his last 17 and now 2/3 innings.
Bullpen got the night off last night for the first time this year. And now Swarzak representing the bullpen, picking the game up in the 7th. Popped up wide of third. Loof in foul ground, calling for it. 2 down. And before Cabrera hits, MLB.TV celebrates 11 years. Catch the rest of this season in HD quality. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 350 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV. Baseball everywhere. Cabrera 0 for 3. 2 ground balls and a pop-up. Has yet to get the ball out of the infield. Down and in, ball 1. Red Sox have a 3-1 lead over the Tigers in the 5th. White Sox come here after tomorrow's game to open up a 4-game series Thursday night. Mixing inside, 2-0. Two and 1. We talked about a couple weeks ago an important stretch of games for the Twins because they were in a stretch where for about a month they're playing within the division almost exclusively.
Yeah, Twins 23 and 28 in the Central Division. The Indians are 27 and 25. It's the Tigers that have played very well in the Central Division.
You can see the Twins completed the 4-game series in Chicago. 3 here with Cleveland, 4 with Chicago, the makeup game with the Mets, then 3 with the Tigers, 3 with Cleveland, 3 more with Kansas City. Hit to the right field corner. And a foul ball, and Cabrera barely moved from home plate. I don't know how close that was to staying fair, but Cabrera nearly made a base running mistake.
Well, I think as soon as he hit it, he kind of knew he pulled that ball and it was going to hook foul.
I'm looking right down the first base and right field foul line, and that ball was going to be foul from the moment he hit it. It started 15 feet fair, but was hooked in big time.
3-2. Foul tip. Herman can't quite hang on.
You know, there have been people talking about, okay, maybe Swarzak should be in that rotation, and they don't want to move him. They want him exactly what he's been able to do, and that's come out of that bullpen, pitch an inning here, sometimes 3, sometimes 4. He's done a good job out of that bullpen.
Cabrera takes a walk with 2 down in the 7th. And that will bring up Michael Brantley. Brantley has 2 lineouts to Josh Willingham and an RBI single.
Brantley's really made himself a good player, hasn't he, guys? I mean, he plays very, very nice outfield. He's a tough out to play both against left-handers and right-handers. He's always a tough guy to get out. Hitting 280 this year. Just a good player.
And he takes strike 1. Saw him make a nice catch, a sliding catch in short left field yesterday.
You know, he was playing when Grady Sizemore, remember his name? I mean, you wonder, where is Grady Sizemore? Yeah. But Brantley kind of took over for Sizemore, you know, after Sizemore come back. Brantley was playing center field. Then they went out and got Michael Bourne, and now he's in left field. Very good athlete.
Willingham with the catch to end the inning. A scoreless top of the 7th for Anthony Swartz. Bloof will start a comeback, he hopes, against a new Cleveland pitcher. Our CenturyLink link to what's next.
You can see Cody Allen, who worked in last night's ballgame, threw a shutout inning, threw 19 pitches, 12 for strikes. Allen, a hard-throwing right-hander out of that bullpen. 2.55 earned run average, making his 52nd relief appearance.
$52 games is a lot, but that's kind of the norm for teams now to have effective relievers pitch in just about half the games.
Well, good job by McAllister. 6 very good innings, 2 runs, but only 1 earned run with a walk and 7 strikeouts. One of his better performances here so far this year.
And the concern for Terry Francona. Concern that Ron Gardenhire has had from time to time. Overuse of the bullpen. Trevor Plouffe leading things off, taking ball 1. Plouffe, Herman, and Thomas here in the 7th. Breaking ball over the outside corner, 1-1. Plouffe with a foul out in the 2nd, a fly ball to center in the 4th. Roller to short. Cabrera has it. 1 away.
I think when you talk about overuse, the innings out of that bullpen, only the Toronto Blue Jays have pitched more innings out of the bullpen than the Minnesota Twins. And right behind them are the Cleveland Indians bullpen. Anthony Swarzak, one shutout inning. He's now pitched 73 innings out of that bullpen, the most of any reliever in the American League.
Here's Herman, swing and a miss. And there have been a lot of those now for Chris over the last couple of ball games. "24 strikeouts for Herman in 69 at bats. Hits, 6 extra base hits. 1 and 2. Fouled away. Time the Indians played here, the Twins won 2 out of 3. Herman strikes out again, 2 down.
The second time Herman goes down swinging, and again he struck out 3 times last night. Allen picking up his first strikeout.
Bring up Clete Thomas with the bases empty and 2 out. Down and away, ball 1. Strike call. Thomas was in a cluster of players, Ryan Rayburn among them, Brennan Bosch, all considered future outfield stars for the Detroit Tigers. And they all seem to land elsewhere. Now Avisail Garcia is playing for the White Sox. Don Kelly's remained. He's still playing for the Tigers, but so much has been said about some of these young Tiger outfielders, or was years ago, and they have all moved on to other organizations, it seems. Wow, Allen strikes out 2 men and cuts through the Twins in the 7th with ease. And we head to the 8th with the Indians up by 3. Which current Twins game jersey is your favorite? The ivory.
A demanding lead.
Yeah. See, I think the real reason I like it, you like it, is it's kind of a throwback jersey. You know, I mean, you could picture Earl Batty and Harmon Killebrew wearing those jerseys.
Even Rod Carew.
He's probably sound asleep now.
Yeah, he's probably sleeping.
He's been circled. He's tucked away from
California time. Yeah, it's past your bedtime, Rod.
Carlos Santana will face Anthony Swarzak in the 8th. Santana, Rayburn, and Chisenhall. Down and in, ball 1. Santana hit by a pitch in the 6th inning. A curveball hit him in the toe. And then right after that, Rayburn clubbed a home run. High fly down the right field line. Arcia with the catch on the warning track. Plenty of air time, but not enough distance.
Just got underneath it a bit and hit that long fly ball out.
Rayburn's reached all 3 times. Leadoff walk in the 3rd. He scored. Reached on an error in the 4th. And then hit the 2-run home run to left in the 6th. Indians liking what they have seen from Rayburn to the point where they signed him to a contract extension a week or so ago. Strike 1. He's a versatile player.
He spent 7 seasons with the Tigers, became a free agent, signed by the Indians as a free agent, and they rewarded him with a long-term contract to keep him in Cleveland.
Oh, 2. One and 2.
Not too many outings that Swarzak has been asked to only pitch 1 inning. Usually they're multi-innings. Brian Dunsing up in the bullpen.
You actually see a left-handed pitcher on left-handers day. One and 2. Bluth backhands it, and from foul territory delivers a strong throw to Mauer.
Right on the mark. Nice play by Trevor Bluth.
2 down in the 8th. 2014 All-Star Game logo has been unveiled, and it's time to show your support and excitement. Show your enthusiasm for the big event coming up next summer and get your officially licensed merchandise now. All-Star Game apparel available at the Majestic Twins Clubhouse store at Target Field, the Twins Pro Shops in Roseville, Apple Valley, and Minnetonka, and online at twinsbaseball.com/shop. Great gift ideas for the baseball fans in your life.
Yeah, it'll be very exciting next summer to have the All-Star team here. Or All-Star Game.
Chisenhall takes ball 1. And now ball 2. Indians had it, but it was nearly 20 years ago. What, mid-90s, I want to say. Lofted to left, Willingham in a couple of steps, and Swarzak has a 1-2-3.
Another good inning by Anthony Swarzak.
By CenturyLink. We'll take a closer look at McAllister out-dueling Samuel Deduno tonight on the hill for Cleveland. We'll also talk about the Twins' home run streak continuing with Josh Willingham's solo home run early in the game. And of course, we'll get manager Ron Gardenhire's thoughts about all of this after the game.
Well, thank you, Jamie. Hopefully you'll be talking about a Twins comeback. See what the Twins can get done against right-hander who goes by the name of Joe Smith.
Yeah, I still don't believe that's his real name, but he's having an outstanding year again out of that bullpen. Will come that sidearm delivery, making his 51st relief appearance. Opponent's hitting only .229. Left-handers .234, right-handers .225. So he's handled both lefties and righties. Drew Stubbs in the game, taking over for Rayburn out in right field.
At the end of July, the guy who normally would pitch in this spot for the Indians, or at least he has very well for the last couple of years, Vinny Pestano, was sent down to AAA Columbus. And so Smith moving up a notch, if you will, in the hierarchy for the Cleveland bullpen, getting the 8th inning in the hopes that there will be a lead there for Chris Perez in the 9th. Florimon, Dozier, and Mauer in the 8th inning. Inside twice, 2-0.
Well, this is a bullpen that at times has kind of exploded a little bit. They have had some trouble. 28 saves in 48 save opportunities.
Up and away, 3-0 to the number 9 batter. We've been watching, you know, Florimon's been challenged just to make contact, and here Smith comes in and falls behind 3-0.
17 walks in 44 innings pitched.
There's a strike. Foul.
Might have swung at ball 4 right there. Ball was dipping down and away.
Florimon not one to draw a lot of walks. 22 of them.
There's our closer right there, Chris Perez.
Full count. Line sharply to Swisher. Florimon can't hit it any harder. Just get a bit the better spot. One down. And I'll bring up Dozier.
Well, Florimon hitting this ball sharply, but Swisher playing off the line for the first out.
Dozier 0 for 3. Struck out the last 2 times. Swinging at high fastballs. Smith misses the inside corner, ball 1. And that line to the third baseman. And Smith living right. He's given up 2 rockets for 2 outs.
Well, this copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
It seemed a bit more rapid than your normal.
Well, Mauer's up. I wanted to make sure that, we watch every pitch right here for Joe Mauer.
Joe singled and scored in the 6th. Strike on the outside corner. Tried to hit the inside corner, but missed. Surprised there haven't been more matchups between, for instance, Mauer and Smith. Joe's only faced him 2 times. Smith has pitched out of the Cleveland bullpen for the last several years.
Yeah, 5 years, and comes out with a 1.88 ERA in 24 innings against the Twins. Twins have only been able to manage 5 runs off of Joe Smith, if that's his real name.
Tapper to second. Couple of line drive outs and a 2-hopper to second. And the Cleveland bullpen has a 1-2-3-8 inning.
Home run, but the Indians came back, and thanks to Zach McAllister, he kind of shut down the Twins offense. 7 strikeouts in 6 very good innings. And Ryan Rayburn with the Indians up 3-1, made it a 5-1 lead with a 2-run home run. That coming off of Debuno in the 6th inning.
And on left-handers day, we finally get a left-handed pitcher, Brian Dunston.
Now I want to know, first I heard of it today that it was left-handers day. Is there a right-handers day coming up?
I think as it's been explained around my house, because I have 3 left-handers in my house, that the other days of the year are all right-handers.
Good. What is it, 9:30? Yeah, we only have what?
2.5 hours left on left-handers day. And then tomorrow's our day.
Thanks for helping me out with that, too.
Yan Gomes with a couple of hits on a line out. Strike 1. Gomes, Bourne, and Swisher in the 9th inning.
We saw the numbers on Dunsing making his 54th relief appearance.
Into the seats over the Twins dugout. 2 strikes.
He is 3-0 already in the month of August, Brian Dunsing. He's been kind of what do they call him?
The vulture.
The vulture. I call him a vulture. I believe the bullpen called him something else, a snake, I think.
Oh, yeah?
They called him a snake, yeah.
Well, they went through franchise history and found out that Walter Johnson won 2 games in one day.
Yeah, but he probably started and went 9 in each one.
I think. Somebody researched it. Here's a pop-up near first, playable for Mauer.
Yeah, what we're talking about is Dunsing won both games of that doubleheader in Chicago.
Walter Johnson won a game in relief a long time ago, 1923, I think they said it was, and then he started the second game and won that one. Chris Perez warming up in what is now a save situation. And then they came up with the curious case of Jim Perry, who also pitched at the end of a suspended game. There was a curfew, I believe, in Cleveland, and so the game was carried over to the next day, and Perry pitched the end of that game, won it, and then started and won the next game.
I had a chance in that 22-inning ball game, again, I believe against the Brewers. It was called because of curfew. Finally, we started the next day. I was supposed to pitch that day, so I started the 22nd inning, gave up a run really quick, and we ended up losing. And then I started game 2, or the second game that day, and got a no decision in another, I believe, 14-inning ball game.
2 strikes to Bourne. When did
so
they
I had
stop?
almost a chance to lose to.
When did they stop curfewing games? And why did they stop them in the first place?
I think it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, but why?
At the old Met.
Okay. Well, but I mean, it wasn't just in Minnesota. They stopped them in Cleveland, everywhere.
I believe there's like 1 o'clock curfew, something like that.
And when did they stop that? Do you have any idea?
No, I do not.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Bourne gone. 2 away in the ninth.
Well, Dunsing picking up his 42nd strikeout and now 45 2/3 innings. Good breaking ball, good location, down in the zone. And Bourne swings through it.
Swisher 0 for 3 with a walk. Twins are due to have Morneau, Willingham, and Arcia. And they hope a few other hitters facing Chris Perez in the bottom of the ninth. No score, bottom of the ninth in Kansas City. Indians are very interested in that game because the Royals passed them in the standings yesterday. 1-1. Swing, strike 2.
Well, Swisher now hitting as a right-handed hitter, where he's hitting .279. 5 of his 12 home runs coming from the right side of the plate.
Swing and a miss. Great inning for Dunsing. Indians go down 1-2-3. And the lefty gets a couple of strikeouts. Chris Perez will try to close it down for the Indians. A 3-run lead. It is a save situation for the Cleveland closer, Chris Perez. With the Twins lined up to face Morneau, Willingham, and Arcia to try to hit against Perez.
Yeah, Perez looking for his 19th save and 22 save opportunities. Opponents hitting only 224. Left-handers hitting 247. He's allowed 4 home runs to lefties. But right-handers hitting only 197.
2 losses on the year, a really costly one in the series a week or so ago against the Tigers. Perez was in there trying to get a save and ended up with the loss, and a crushing loss for the Indians. Strike 1 to Morneau. Morneau 0 for 6 in his matchups against Perez. Oh, and 2.
Yeah, Perez missed about a month earlier this summer, back in late May, when his right shoulder acted up on him, put on a disabled list.
Tapper right side, right to Kipnis. Morneau retired, 1 away. And that'll bring up Willingham. Willingham got the game started in the right direction for the Twins. A solo home run leading off the 2nd inning. And then Meduno gave up runs in 4 straight innings. Willingham now with 12 home runs. Missing inside, ball 1. Willingham 1 for 8 with a walk against Perez. The Twins would like to get to the plate with 2 men on is Plouffe. He's got great numbers against Perez. 5 for 6 with a home run. And that's what the Twins need, for Willingham to reach and for Arcia to reach, and Plouffe come up representing the tying run. Wrapped to third. Chisenhall digs it out. 2 down. That'll bring up Arcia.
Well, Perez coming in, throwing that sinker along with that breaking ball, getting 2 ground ball outs.
Arcia 0 for 2 with a walk.
Not much offense for the Twins tonight. McAllister kind of shut the door. Twins had a couple opportunities with runners in scoring position and less than 2 outs. Not to pick them up.
That's ball 1, and as Roy said earlier, that really makes a huge difference when you get to the late innings. If the Twins had executed, it'd be a 5-4 ball game, and this at bat right here is a white knuckler for everybody if it means the tying run. 1-1.
Lost opportunities.
And the Twins slugged their way to some wins in Chicago and even last night. Missing opportunities. This one driven to left. Brantley retreating. He's not going to get there, and Arcia keeps the game alive. Another opposite field extra base hit for Oswaldo Arcia.
The Twins get their 5th hit of the ball game. For Arcia, he gets his 14th double. This one we've seen from Arcia, Dick. You know, he's got power to all fields. That fastball away, tails away, and he just goes with it and hits it over the head of Brantley. 1 hops the fence. Brantley has to play the carry and get it back in.
Some idea how powerful he is. That ball got to the wall, the fence, in a hurry. Here's Plouffe. At the knees, a strike. And Plouffe 5 for 6 with a walk and a home run and a double against Perez. Trying to keep the game alive for Chris Herman. Inside, missing 1-1. Breaking ball gets a swing and a miss. 1-2.
Yeah, big sweeping breaking ball there. Perez has 117 major league saves.
One and two to Trevor Plouffe. Twins down to their last strike. 2-2.
.117 with the Indians. He had 8 with the Cardinals before he got traded over.
Popped up. Cabrera calls for it. And the series is tied at a game apiece. And the Indians now have won 6 of the 11 between Minnesota and Cleveland. And Tom Adam and the series will wrap up tomorrow a little afternoon.
Dick, the Twins suffer their first loss at home since August 1st, while the Indians get their second win in the last 9 games. We'll wrap it off next on Twins Live.